Um, okay, I'm gonna go over here. And I'm gonna be really quiet. Except for asking questions. Okay, hello.
Hey.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit about your experience working with social workers.
Wait, should I say my name?
Yeah, you can say your name.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Ava Saunders. I've been recently diagnosed with having bipolar disorder, and that's kind of how I started my experience with social workers. I'm a singer and songwriter, have a passion for music. I taught myself how to play the guitar with help of a friend. She also taught me, but I'm mostly self-taught. And I'm an actress as well. I've been a little out of practice because of my mental health. It was kind of like a struggle, a bit of a challenge, like doing both at the time, focusing on healing and like auditioning, all that stuff when I was just unstable. So now that I'm finding my grounding again, I'm getting myself out there in auditions and stuff like that.
How have there been boundaries that social workers have navigated that have been less helpful or even harmful?
Well, so this is a bit of a longer list, but it's been 2 years, so I guess it's just like the things that irritate me stuck with me a lot. I would say they're a bit invasive, like they come into my space, into my room, which is already like a smaller space, and they're just kind of like, oh, this is nice, like looking at my decorum. I feel like there was this time where they have to like make reports on me, and they gave me a really bad report and then like made me go on civil commitment at once, and it was like the responses were like, oh, she's really flat and she doesn't emote and she's like always at her friend's house, and like some of the responses did not make sense because I told them I have to be going to this friend's house because the heating of our building, the air conditioning of our building wasn't working, and it was really, really hot that summer. And I wasn't just gonna sit in the heat, and so I was like, I told them, hey, I have to go to another location, and they could have met me there, and they never did. They never asked about that. And then the thing about me being flat, I was just like, I see you guys like so many times throughout the week. There's only so many emotions I could have. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to be on. I don't have to have this huge personality with you. Like, I'm sharing a small part of myself with you in a way. And so I don't have to give that much. And I feel like they just had different expectations of me. I don't know if this one's really important, but I would like to see them like take interest in like my social life, because they often don't ask about my friends or like relationships. And I never always kind of wondered why. I don't really know. Maybe they just want to focus on me, but I feel like your social life is like a part of you. With my other two case managers, we have a very like close relationship. And I think it's because like what they do is a lot more multifaceted, and so like it can kind of change up sometimes. Like it's not always the same when I see them. And like they have stories to tell me and about like their lives sometimes, which is nice, about like what they were like when they were younger, or like one of them just is really interested in like who I am and like how my day is going and how my weeks are going. And sometimes they'll like break the wall of social work and just like start cursing, or like like their language will get very casual with me, and that makes me feel like, okay, they're just a friend, or I can like be myself with them.
And so that's like, it's a positive thing when they kind of break that wall.
Yeah, because then I feel like, okay, like they're not just here because this is their job. They're here because like I'm a person and they're a person and they care about me, and they're human. Like I like seeing their human sides. Like one time I had this like hour-and-a-half car ride to Rice County for like a court thing, and my social worker was telling me about like the unprotected sex she was having when she was young, because like they they didn't have condoms or something like that. So she's older, so I guess they didn't have condoms, or they didn't have birth control for sure. I know that. And it was just like funny to hear her talking like that. Like I had no idea she was like that. It just made me like be like, huh, like this is relatable. Even though like I definitely would support condoms and birth control. I just thought it was funny.
As someone who has received support from social workers, what advice would you give future social workers who are learning how to navigate professional boundaries?
I would definitely say listen to body language, because I feel like sometimes language is not always verbal. It's not always words. You know, like the body tells a lot, and you can just read so much into like someone's energy by what their body's giving, what their gestures are, if their arms are crossed, if they're like nervously ticking. Like I have a nervous tick sometimes with my legs when I feel like anxious. I hope it didn't show up on camera. But like, yeah, I feel like listening more in that way, because there's a lot you can learn, not just by like assuming or like getting the literal, but like going underneath what someone is saying. I feel like you can receive a lot of information that way.
We could sing This Little Light of Mine.
Are you serious?
I mean,
this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.